Hi guys, just wanted to talk about a project that I have created called Vagrant Boxes. As always, this can be found in my GitHub repository. The URL is github.com/savishY/vagrant boxes with a dash in between. Let's just talk about the need. The need is in this case, I go to several corporate environments, several projects, and I often find the need to have a consistent DevOps environment with predictable versions of OS, predictable versions of applications, etc. Across these environments. And obviously, the bulk of corporate environments tend to be on Windows, and the bulk of DevOps work happens on Linux. And I'm a fan of Ubuntu, so I need to have the need is that I need to have a consistent environment across these different scenarios. That is one use case. The second use case is that one needs to have a consistent DevOps environment across one's team members, and that was when I essentially embarked on this process. So when you clone this repository, you will see various directories, each of which corresponds to one Vagrant box. So I'm going to be dealing with Docker registry, which is essentially a Docker registry virtual machine that gets mounted up on your Windows box. So right now this video is being recorded on a Windows box, and the Windows machine has a Docker registry running on the following IP. So this is a UI for the Docker registry, 84.84.87.88:9090. So when you load that up, it loads up this Docker registry. Right now there is nothing in this Docker registry. That's because I just created this now, but I'm going to be demonstrating how to use the Docker registry as well. But where is this running? This is essentially a Ubuntu virtual machine which contains the Docker registry application that is running on port 9090. So the use case for this Docker registry Vagrant box is that it creates the a working version of a Docker registry anywhere you go. So all you have to do is do a Vagrant up, and you will have a Docker registry running on 84.84.87.88:9090. So that is the use case here. As always, the note is that these Vagrant VMs that I work on are for development use only, and my use is to develop proofs of concept that involve the Docker registry. The prerequisites for running most of my Vagrant boxes is the same. You need to have a Windows machine. That's purely because this has been tested only on Windows. At least 4 GB RAM is recommended. The Vagrant VMs do take up a certain amount of RAM. You need a recent version of Vagrant. I've tested this on Vagrant 1.9.3, which is the latest version at the time of writing, but you do need something on the order of 1.8 or higher. Vagrant and VirtualBox have a tight coupling, so you do need to have a version of VirtualBox that corresponds to Vagrant. So 1.8.6, for example, requires VirtualBox 5.0. If you are on 1.9.3, the latest Vagrant version, you need VirtualBox 5.1, and so on and so forth. And then it goes without saying that for most VirtualBox applications and for most Docker applications, hardware virtualization does need to be enabled in your BIOS. So in corporate environments, this might be a problem because of the fact that it might not be enabled by default, and you will need to talk to your IT administrator to reboot your machine into the BIOS and enable hardware virtualization. In some machines, this is called VT-X. So that is VT-X. In others, it is called VT-D. So your mileage will vary. Just kind of Google around to see for your laptop model what is it called. the process to run any Vagrant box is as simple as cding to a directory that contains the Vagrant file. So inside the Docker registry directory, there is a Vagrant file. You need to cd to this directory from within a terminal and then execute Vagrant up. And what that does is, the standard Vagrant process of creating a VirtualBox VM based on the parameters that I've specified in the Vagrant file. So I'm using Ubuntu 14. We will deal with the specifications in a bit. It installs Docker and creates a Docker registry and then opens up the ports required to run the application. So just to be clear, there are two applications. One is the Docker registry itself, running on port 5000, and then there is a front end that we just talked about, this one, the one that is running on port 9090, which interacts with the registry and exposes a UI to browse the various images that are present in the registry. By default, the port, the IP being used is 8484 8788, and the port for the registry is 5000. By the way, this sentence is wrong. I should edit the README. The registry UI has been created, so this is the wrong sentence. All right. We are now looking at the Vagrant file for the Docker registry Vagrant box. The name of the box that we are using is Fusion Ubuntu 14.04 AMD 64. This is the base image or the starting point that we are going to be using, and we'll kind of do customizations on top of this Vagrant box. So the other part is the other important part is that we are going to be forwarding 5000 and 9090. These are the two ports that we will need. And the reason that we need to forward our ports is so that from our Windows machine we will be able to access applications running on the ports inside this. We are configuring a private network with an arbitrary IP address. This is I have chosen a subnet of 84.84.87* for all of my Vagrant boxes. I will deal with another Vagrant box that actually runs on 8787. So for this Vagrant box, I'm choosing 8788. This is purely, you can always edit this to be something of your choice, but I just find that this is an IP range that is not used elsewhere. And then this is the host name of the Vagrant box, various other settings, some boot timeouts, and then in your Vagrant UI also the name needs to be set. And then this is the interesting part. We are provisioning the Vagrant box using Docker, and the act of provisioning is basically to install the relevant applications and start them, or to perform certain configuration actions. In our case, the applications are themselves Docker containers. So the registry application that listens on 5000 is a Docker container, and the registry UI application that listens on port 9090 is also a Docker container. So I'm going to provision this using Docker. Basically, I'm going to start a Docker registry application, and I'm going to start a Docker registry UI application. And that's it. It's a fairly simple Vagrant file, and it doesn't take too much time to provision. So let's go ahead and check out how the provisioning looks. So the Vagrant boxes directory has a directory called Docker registry, and inside that Docker registry you will see a Vagrant file. So basically we are going to be using Vagrant in order to bring up this Docker registry VM. And the way to bring up the Docker registry VM is using Vagrant up. And once we do that, essentially what that Vagrant file does is it is going to be using VirtualBox to bring up a virtual machine called Docker registry. And then the other stuff is basically, Vagrant uses private key authentication, so it's configuring that. The machine becomes ready. And then the important part is that we are using Docker to provision our Vagrant VM. And the provisioning part basically installs the Docker registry. It installs the Docker registry frontend, and both of these are going to be Docker containers. And you can see the appropriate output. So it is using an image called registry to start the Docker registry, and it is using this Docker users registry front end application. So once your Docker registry is up and running, the virtual machine, you can see that it is running in the VirtualBox UI. Here's the machine that is running, and you can see that it is taking 1 GB of RAM, several other details. It's using a host only Ethernet adapter. It's not too important for us to get into the details of that, but it's running Ubuntu, and by default these VMs do not have a UI, like in the sense you will not get your full Ubuntu desktop. And the other thing to note is, do not ever stop or remove them from the VirtualBox interface. So this was just a demonstration, but do not stop or destroy them from here. You should only ever use Vagrant in order to manage these VMs. Now that this has been done, we need to figure out how to get our Docker client on our Windows machine to interact with this Docker registry. So to that end, let me start the Docker Quick Start terminal. And this is going to be, if you know your Docker fairly well, you will remember that Docker Quick Start terminal essentially uses a Docker machine, right? And that Docker machine is essentially a VirtualBox VM running a small version of Linux called boot2docker, which is like a 30 MB kind of a Linux. And when we start the Docker Quick Start terminal, all that it is doing is that it is starting the Docker machine default, right? As you can see in the output here. And it is going to be configuring some network, waiting for an IP address, and once the machine gets started, it's going to provision it with several it's going to provision it with Docker as the provisioner, and once all that happens, it opens up a terminal into that virtual machine. So that is what the Docker Quick Start terminal does. And knowing this is important, because once we know that, this command will now make sense. If we do Docker machine ls, we'll see a default virtual machine. This is the name of the VM, and it is running using the VirtualBox driver, right? Which proves that this is basically a VirtualBox VM, and this is its URL. The IP address is 192.168.99.100, and that's the version of the Docker engine that is running on this Docker machine. So why did we say all this, right? The point is that this Docker machine, the default machine, is not configured to use your Docker registry. So what that means is, if I do docker pull hello world, okay, this is going to pull it from the Docker hub, the Docker registry available for public use. But we want to configure it to use our Docker registry, which is running at 84, 87, 88. So that is this one, right? We want to configure it to pull images from here. Of course, there's not any images here, so we're going to have to configure that Docker machine to connect to this Docker registry. So first, let's stop our Docker machine. So before I create the VirtualBox, the Docker machine with VirtualBox to communicate with my registry, I will need to understand what options I need to specify to the Docker machine create command, which is the command that creates the new Docker machine. So here I'm on the Docker machine reference. The first option we need is the -- engine insecure registry option. So that basically configures the registry that has been created previously at 84, 84, 87, 87. So this is the registry, not the UI, as we have mentioned before. So that means that we'll also need to specify port 5000. The other part is that we are going to be requiring to pull images not just from the insecure registry but also from the general Docker hub as well. Now the option that specifies that is the engine registry mirror. If you do not specify this, then only images stored in your registry will be pulled. If you specify this option, then your registry will act like a mirror which passes through all the other images which are not located in your Docker registry. So let's try these out and we will understand how they work. So the first thing is, let me just go back to my history, machine, create, there you go. So here's the command. The -- engine insecure registry points to my registry that is running on port 5000 at the VirtualBox VM, and the registry mirror is specifying a URL with HTTP pointing to my registry mirror. Alright. So now this command is quite finicky to get right. So a couple of things. You need to not have an equal to sign here, meaning that in the engine insecure registry it does not take an equal to sign. But the engine registry mirror does take an equal to sign. So remember that. Also, the engine insecure registry is simply an IP and a port, nothing else, no protocols HTTP or HTTPS. However, the engine registry mirror does need to take an HTTP : / parameter. That is if you are working with an insecure registry. The instructions for secure registries are totally different. We are not talking about secure registries. But if you do not specify HTTP or if you do not specify the equal to sign, a lot of things could go wrong, including your Docker will try to connect using HTTPS, but the server is not configured for HTTPS, so it will throw a lot of security related errors. So you don't want to fall into that trap. So remember these conventions. And after you create that, basically Docker is going to be configuring a whole new Docker machine, which is called Docker Registry Client. And it's not going to be touching your default Docker machine at all. And this Docker machine is what you would use when you want to connect to your private registry. The procedure to create the Docker machine is very simple. It's been documented before, and its documentation on that is quite copious in the Docker docs as well. But the additional parameters that specify the engine registry and the registry mirror, these go into the VirtualBox VM, which basically is created from the boot to Docker ISO, right? And they go into the Docker options for that, for the Docker daemon listening on inside that VM. So that is basically how it works. And our Docker machine is up and running. Let's connect to our Docker machine. The procedure is exactly the same for any Docker machine. So what we have done is that we have evaluated the output of Docker machine env Docker registry client. So all that does is it sets these parameters, environment variables, and that's it. Using that environment variable, the 4 environment variables above, we are now connected to our Docker registry client. So now if I run Docker info, see a whole lot of things, but importantly I see this insecure registries 8484, 8788, 5000. Let's also check some other stuff, the Docker version, right? Information about the operating system. Like I said, it is a Linux VM. The Docker machine is a Linux VM running on an OS boot to Docker. It has approximately 1 GB of RAM. Alright. So now, having said all that, I'm going to execute a quick curl command. Just to check the health of our Docker service, of the Docker registry service. Great, it is up and running. It returned me the 200 code, which means that the service is up. Now let me remove the verbosity and let me hit the catalog endpoint. What did I just do? I basically hit a curl command, hit the service with a curl command to return me a catalog of all the repositories present. Right now there is only a single image present inside this Docker image, inside this Docker registry. Let's verify this from the UI as well. To visit the UI, you would go to doc 8484, 8788, 9090 and then hit enter. And then browse repositories here. Alright, I had pushed this a few minutes ago to demonstrate this video. So this Docker repository registry has one repository called Hello World. Let's figure out how to pull this Docker image. Docker pull 84, 87, 88, 5000. And note that I'm not providing anything else apart from the IP and the port of the Docker registry. Hello world, right? And that's it. This is a good enough proof that the image was pulled from our Docker registry. Now let's push to our Docker registry. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to pull something from the general internet. Alright, so the same Hello World image is also present on the Docker Hub. And the Docker pull Hello World without the registry IP and port points it to the official Docker Hub image. Alright, now if I do Docker images, I will see two images. One is from my registry and the other is from the general internet. Now in order to push my this Hello World image into my registry, I need to tag it appropriately, and the format is docker tag, the name of my existing image, and then the tag. The tag needs to contain the IP address of my Docker registry, the port of my Docker registry, and then the new image. Now instead of Hello World, because we already have that image, right, let's call it Hello World. Okay, if I now do Docker images, I will see one more image called Hello World 2. The last step is to push this image that we just created to the Docker registry, and that is as simple as docker push and then the full tag of the image that I need to push. So in this case it is the registry IP :port / Hello World 2, and using just the registry IP and the port in the tag, Docker will know that this needs to be pushed to my Docker registry. Alright, so that has been pushed. Now let's go to our Docker registry UI, and you see that there is an image now called Hello World 2. Alright, that is a quick introduction to Docker registry, to the Docker registry VirtualBox VM as well, and how to use that in production on a Windows VM. Hope you enjoyed it. Thanks.